this video we are going to discuss about sickle cell anemia. So let's start with the introduction. So sickle cell disease is a hereditary hemoglobinopathy, or we can say defect in hemoglobin, which is caused by a point mutation in beta globin, and this promotes the polymerization of deoxygenated hemoglobin. It starts with the inheritance of sickle cell disease in autosomal recessive pattern, which leads to defective hemoglobin synthesis known as HbS or sickle hemoglobin, leading to sickle-shaped red cells, which on deoxygenation or in hypoxic condition form polymers. Polymerization further leads to harmful effects like red cell distortion, hemolytic anemia, microvascular obstruction, and ischemic tissue damage. Coming to the etiology or cause of the disease, normal adult red cells have HbA, which has alpha-2 beta-2 chains, with small amounts of HbA2 with alpha-2 delta-2 chains and small amounts of fetal hemoglobin with alpha-2 gamma-2 chains. So in sickle cell disease, there is point mutation in 6th codon of beta globin chain, which leads to replacement of glutamate with valine. So it further leads to production of defective hemoglobin known as HbS. So we can remember this by a simple mnemonic, which is villain replaces the good guy, where by villain we mean valine and by good guy we mean glutamate. So valine replaces glutamate. Now the production of HbS leads to either a homozygous state leading to sickle cell disease where HbS is greater than 90%, or a heterozygous condition leading to sickle cell trait where HbA is 60% whereas HbS is 40%. Clinical features of sickle disease are manifested in sickle cell disease or homozygous condition. But also there is another condition called compound heterozygous condition. Here both the beta globin chains are defective as compared to sickle cell trait where only one globin chain is abnormal, beta globin chain, and in sickle cell disease both the beta globin chain are abnormal. So in compound heterozygous, only one beta globin chain has the sickle cell defect, but the other globin chain has a different abnormality, leading to condition like HbSc, where there is 50% HbC, which is another type of hemoglobin, and conditions like HbS beta thalassemia. Coming to the pathogenesis, when there is point mutation in a normal hemoglobin leading to sickle hemoglobin, the sickle hemoglobin when deoxygenated takes a sickle-shaped form, which activates or opens channels leading to influx of calcium, which further activates channels that lead to efflux of potassium and water. So deoxygenated hemoglobin molecules are insoluble and polymerized to form pseudocrystalline structures called tactoids. And because of the polymerization, there is change in shape due to dehydration. Now the RBCs become rigid, deformed, and assume characteristic sickle or crescent shape, which further leads to hemolysis and extensive membrane damage or prolonged transit times leading to microvascular occlusion. Now factors that affect rate and degree of sickling are other hemoglobins. So HbC hemoglobin favors sickling, whereas HbA and HbF hinder sickling, where HbF inhibits sickling more than HbA. Now comes transit time in microvasculature. By transit time, we mean the average time in seconds the cells present in a specific volume of a blood vessel. So the slowing of bloodstream favors sickling. Now MCHC or mean cell hemoglobin concentration. So increased mean cell hemoglobin concentration will obviously there will be more of hemoglobin, sickle hemoglobin, so will lead to sickling. Whereas decreased MCHC means there's less of sickle hemoglobin, so it hinders sickling. Now coming to intracellular pH, a decreased pH favors sickling, and other factors are temperature greater than 37 degree and infections, which will favor sickling. And as we have known about deoxygenation, consequently when O2 tension is low, it will favor sickling, whereas high O2 tension or oxygen tension will hinder sickling. Now coming to the consequences of sickling, we can remember it by 3S. First is decrease in solubility, increased in thickness and stiffness. So decrease in solubility will lead to excessive clearance by macrophages in the spleen. So in the spleen there will be extravascular hemolysis or hemolytic anemia. Due to increase in stiffness, we will find that in the osmotic fragility test, curve will shift to the left. Due to stickiness, it will stick to the blood vessel, leading to microvascular occlusions, which further lead to ischemia and infarctions. Also, it has a positive consequence, that is, it leads to protection against falciparum malaria, which is mainly due to two reasons. First is that the sickle cells are more rapidly cleared by phagocytes in the spleen and liver, which thus also gets rid of the parasite. Secondly, sickling impairs formation of membrane knobs containing PFEMP1 protein, which is Plasmodium falciparum erythrocyte membrane protein 1, which is made by the parasite, which is responsible for the clinically manifested features of the disease. So you can see here the osmotic fragility curve for sickle cell anemia, which shifts to the left from the normal range, because in sickle cell disease the RBCs are more rigid as compared to hereditary spherocytosis, where the RBCs are fragile. Now coming to the clinical features, there is anemia in adults, which is associated with reticulocytosis and hyperbilirubinemia. In children, the following conditions are seen, like they are prone to infection like Haemophilus influenza and Pneumococcus pneumoniae, which lead to septicemia and meningitis. Also, there is bone involvement manifested in the form of hand-foot syndrome and dactylitis of hands or feet or both. There is also sequestration crisis, where there is rapid splenic enlargement and hypovolemic shock. Also, there is splenomegaly, which latter leads to autosplenectomy, and this is due to splenic infarcts. Also, there is acute chest syndrome due to infection or infarction in the lungs. Now coming to sickle cell crisis or complications, we have vaso-occlusive crisis, which is caused due to sickling, and it is the most common and hallmark of sickle cell disease, and it mainly affects brain, lungs, skin, bone, liver and spleen. In the brain there may be a stroke. In the lungs there is acute chest syndrome, which lead to fever, dyspnea. In the skin there is non-healing ulcers. In the bone we can find acute bone pains, dactylitis, hand-foot disease, avascular necrosis of femur head. In the liver there is hepatomegaly, and in the spleen there is splenomegaly. Now there are also aplastic crisis due to parvovirus B19 infection, which lead to temporary cessation of erythropoiesis. Also, as we have discussed previously, there is sequestration crisis, where entire spleen is sequestrated with blood, leading to hypovolemia, which is a dangerous or fatal condition. Other long-term complications are impaired growth and development, chronic infarcts of bones, infections, leg ulcers, cardiac and neurological complications, cholelithiasis, priapism, retinopathies, pregnancy complication. So we can remember the signs of sickle cell disease by the mnemonic sickle. For S, we have splenomegaly. For I, we have infection. For C, we have chronic leg ulcers and cholelithiasis. For K, we have kidney diseases. For L, we have leg ulcers and lung infection. For E, we have eye and erectile dysfunction, which denotes retinopathies and priapism respectively. Now coming to sickle cell disease lab investigation, the ESR is low because there is no Rulex formation in sickle cells. So consequently ESR will be low. Now in the peripheral smear we can see sickle cells, target cells and Havel-Jolly bodies. In sickling test we will find that by adding reducing agent like metabisulfate to blood sample will induce sickling only if sickle hemoglobin HbS is present in the blood. By electrophoresis principle is also used. Here the principle is that the movement of hemoglobin is according to solubility in a medium, which varies for different types of hemoglobin. So sickle hemoglobin HbS is slow moving compared to other hemoglobin like HbA and fetal hemoglobin. Now coming to the treatment, stem cell transplant is the ideal form of treatment. Also there is hydroxyurea, which when given will lead to increase in fetal hemoglobin, which we have discussed that it hinders sickling, and also it has anti-inflammatory effect.